Hello friends, this is Scott, and we're back at my rental house, and here's a flashback at the tree we had taken down. This is a Chinese elm, and it was huge. And as you see, lots of wood to get out of the yard. Now, we'd cut a couple other trees, and I was able to pull those smaller tree branches down and get them cut up at the hobby farm. But now it's time to start tackling this Chinese elm, and I'm a little apprehensive. Of all the firewood shows I watched, elm is supposed to be a really twisty wood, really hard to split. So I'm not sure exactly, how this is going to go, whether or not this will be an easy project or whether this is going to be pack my lunch and dinner and over a couple week job. So we'll see. But I climbed to the top of the hill here in our backyard just to try to measure this trunk. And as you see, elms just resprout. So there was no measuring this trunk. It was, it's a mess. So I'm going to have to come in here and cut this down again. But you see, we have lots of wood. So after I loaded up the truck with one load, and I didn't overload it, this is how much wood we have left. So there's plenty. And a lot of these are, I didn't have my wheelbarrow, and I really don't want to just pick them up and carry them out to the front yard. I want to wheel them back. So I'm going to bring the wheelbarrow next time, and I'll just bring the trailer and wheelbarrow just to push them right onto the trailer, dump the wheelbarrow, and then load the trailer up. So here's what I took. I didn't take a ton. I wasn't sure if I was going to take the lawnmower down to the hobby farm this trip or take a trailer down with furniture, so I didn't want to take too much weight because I just have a Tundra's just a 150. So got down to the hobby farm safe and sound, and I brought Mr. Lincoln with me, and decided I'd chuck some of this off. I had to make sure the dog got out of the way, or don't want any fatalities here chucking firewood. So yeah, as you can see, I was a little lazy. I took the smaller pieces to start with, and just give me a good test splitting this wood. I've never chopped Chinese elm with an axe, I don't believe, unless I just didn't know what kind of wood I had. But it's really an unknown. I talked to the neighbor down here, and he says Chinese elm is a really good firewood. But everybody on YouTube that cuts firewood says elm is a really snarly mess. And when I watch them split it with machines, and it's a little bit twisted. So we'll see how an axe goes. So I brought a couple tools down. I'm going to try today to see how easy this Chinese elm is to chop up. So we'll see. So there's the pile I brought down. Again, just a small fraction of what I've got left to bring. But I've still got a little room left on the wood rack. I need to expand the wood rack some more and make another rack because I've got lots of wood. So here's a close look at a Chinese elm. And it's kind of a rough barked tree. And this tree was probably cut down maybe 6 months ago, maybe 5 months ago. So it's starting to already crack. So even in an unsplit form. So it might not be that hard to split. So we're going to start with a good straight piece to start with. And I brought my 8-pound splitting maul. I brought a wedge, looks like a 4-pound, number 4 wedge, whatever that means. And I just have an axe. So we're going to try different techniques to split this wood and see, how easy is Chinese elm to split. So first try, I got my splitting maul, 8-pound maul, boom. Well, that wasn't too tough. Split it right in half, one swing. That's much better than that shag bark stuff that I was, cutting last week that I filled the bin up with. But yeah, the whole splitting maul went right through it, and no problem. So yeah. I think maybe it's a wives' tale that Chinese elm is that big of a deal to split. So we'll see. But again, it's first piece, and a couple swings, and we got it all broken up. Got another one, and tried it again with the maul, and let's see how many swings it takes on this one. Well, it took 2, so that wasn't terrible. Just enough to crack it open, and once it's cracked open, you can split it pretty easily. So I'll still use the maul and just finish these off. But I think I'm going to be using the axe here and see what the axe feels like. But first, I'll finish this piece off with the old sledge. And again, it doesn't seem like Chinese elm is really that big of a deal. But again, these are small pieces, straight grained. And we'll see what some more twisted wood it does. As soon as you start seeing a little curve in the wood, we'll see how that does with the grain. But so far, the axe, first swing, perfect. So this is really straight grained wood, at least these pieces. So looking good, yeah, no problem. So I'm thinking, this is going to be a piece of cake. We'll just keep on going and see how much of this we can get chopped up. So I took the axe, and now it's the axe's turn. And I took one swing at this new piece. And I'm going to try to whack it from a different direction. And let's see how this goes. Oh, so that was another easy piece. So we've run into either some really easy pieces, or the whole thing is easy. So, I'm kind of thinking this is a piece of cake. Not worried about elm in the least. So, yeah, the axe works great, and chopped those up nicely, and we're getting the old wood rack filled. Couple more swings, and we'll be on to our third test with the actual wedge. And just give this one piece another swing, and boom, pretty easy. So here's another small piece of wood, and we're going to try a wedge and just hit it with the 8-pound maul, and we'll see how this goes. See if the wedge is easier or not. Now this is a lot smaller of a target, so yeah. So far, failure number one, fell off the log, so I'm just going to hit it on the ground and see what it does. So one hit, and I busted it right in half. So again, 4 pieces in, and every technique is no more than 2 swings to break it open. So it looks like no matter what tool I use, this wood is not too difficult to split. So all that fear of Chinese elm may not be a reality. But I'm afraid that I'm going to show you a little bit more of what I ran into as time went by. Now this piece here is a little bit harder, and I just flipped it over because I think I had a kind of an uneven end there. So we're going to grab the wedge again, or the splitting maul, excuse me, and we're going to chop it with this and see how that goes. Oh, that did it. So, and here's a piece, though. This is kind of another similar size piece, but this is going to kind of give you a better feel of what elm might be all about. So I'm whacking these pretty good, and I'm moving around different sides, and this is swing number 3 on this piece. It's the same size, or smaller even than the others, but it's not doing much. This was a pretty tight grained piece, it looks like. So I'm 3 swings in. Let's shoot for number 4, see what happens here. Number 4, and nothing. So I'm still, I guess there's progress being made, but not good enough progress. So I'm going to try the wedge again. So let's see if that made a little bit of a crack. So let's see if I can tap that wedge in there and get it to break. But like I say, it's harder to hit this small little wedge with the old maul. And whoop, strike 1. So I'll put it back up. That was a clean strike, I think. And I'm going for swing number 2, and that's a foul ball. So strike 2. And yeah, I think we're going to give this another try here and see if we can break this open. So here's third swing at this. And I hit it, but I think I'll call that another foul ball. But I can start seeing a little bit more cracking going on. And I said, I'll just leave it on the ground. And let's see. So this is swing, whatever this is, swing 4 or 5. And a miss. And a hit. And I'm still pounding, and finally got it split. So probably 6 or 7 swings there to get that with the wedge. Once it's broke open, though, it's a new ball game. But this piece was definitely a tighter grained piece than the other ones. But I'll just hit it with the 8-pound sledge, 8-pound maul, and it popped it right open again. So that was a little tougher piece. And so I'm starting to think that maybe if they're good straight grain pieces, not too large, they split good. But if they're bigger or they have a little twist to them, yeah, like this piece here is still fighting me a little bit. So maybe it's a little tougher than I originally thought. I think I was lulled to sleep at the first few pieces, so I must have cherry picked that one. I took another swing and got 3 pieces out of that one. So, but here's a look at how stringy it can be. There's some twisted. There's a little knot. And we've got some twisted grains, so it's not all the pieces are going to split as easy as others. But it's still not as bad as that shagbark stuff I was splitting last week. That was a pain in the butt. But here's another piece, just to give you another idea that once they start to twist a little bit, it's stringy, and yeah, it's definitely harder to split. So it takes a lot more swings, but it's still, it's not a terrible firewood. So I didn't get all of it done. I got maybe a third of it, but I filled up the rack, and I've got to build another rack and keep chopping and bring more wood down. But I had a good time. And my first experiment with Chinese elm, kind of mixed results. Good straight pieces are split easy, but if they have a little twist to them, I think you got your work cut out for you. So in any event, it was fun, and I've got a lot more work to do. It's getting hot. I'm when I was chopping this wood, it was probably 95 degrees, and I was sweating a little bit. So this is one of those, late evening kind of projects or end of the season projects where you can get a little exercise and not overheat. So anyway, hope you like this video, and don't be afraid of Chinese elm. I think you can handle it if you decide to use it for firewood. Thanks for watching, and hit that subscribe button if you like what you see. Thank you.